Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Michelle Anderson, and I'm the President and CEO of your local United Way. It is an honor to welcome you to the 18th Annual Women United Fall Luncheon. We were heartbroken to have to move the event virtual again this year, but we felt it was the safest decision for all of you, our organization, and our community. I promise you are still in for a treat. As you know, events like this would not be possible without the support of generous sponsors who offset the cost to ensure your donation goes directly into the community. I want to thank our friends at Town Bank for presenting today's event. Town Bank is a true definition of a partner, and their dedication to the communities in which they live and work is unparalleled. Every year, Town Bank sets the tone of our annual campaign as a pace setter. And this year, they once again delivered, raising $570,000, 6% over their goal. Here to offer a few words on their behalf, we have with us Glynn, Town Bank's president of Hampton Roads and the Outer Banks. Dawn is a longtime United Way supporter, a former chair of our board of directors, and a member of the Women United 10 for 10 class of 2017. She was also recently recognized by Virginia Business Magazine in their first Women in Leadership Awards, a well-deserved honor. Please join me in welcoming Glynn.
Thank you, Michelle, and thanks to all of you for joining today's event. Town Bank is proud to support United Way, and specifically Women United, in their work to move women and their families into permanent self-sufficiency. Building stronger communities is a cornerstone of Town Bank's philosophy, so we're thrilled to be able to support causes and events just like this today. It is my distinct pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for today. Dr. Mamie Parker is a biologist, conservationist, and executive coach. The youngest of 11 children, her interest in the outdoors started in childhood, inspired by her mother, a single parent, a sharecropper, and outdoorswoman. A pioneer in her field, Dr. Parker was the first Black Chief of Staff and leader of a United States Fish and Wildlife Service Regional Office, a Presidential Rank Award winner, and an advocate at heart. She has worked with various organizations to advance diversity and opportunities for minority students in STEM fields. She'll share with us today insights from her life overcoming barriers to break through a male-dominated industry. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Mamie Parker.
Thank you so much, Dawn, for that wonderful introduction. And you know, I've been called many things, one of which they call me the Celebration Queen. And I take that very seriously. And today I get a chance to celebrate many women, some of which are my sheroes. And it is so exciting to be here with you all. I have the privilege of working with Brown Advisory. And of course, Allie has been one of those ladies that's been following me around, and she's been there to say thank you for what you're doing. So it's my turn to say to her, thank you, and Amanda as well. Sherry has done a wonderful job at United Way in preparing us for this wonderful day. And so I'm so grateful to have the privilege of working with United Way and thinking about this program. I am a girl raised in the South, a grit, yes, so I can say to the audience, hey y'all. It's so good to see all of you all, and if you have the opportunity, please put in the chat, say hey y'all back to me, and tell me where you're from, what organizations you're with, what companies you're with, so we can know who's out there. Hey y'all, that's all you have to say as well. It is a pleasure to have the opportunity to talk about women working together, women that are lifting each other up. And so today, that's what I want to talk to you a little bit about, because I am excited about how progressive you are, how productive you are, but more importantly, how passionate you are about the work that you're doing here in the, what do you call it? The 757. And speaking of 757, I am really excited because this is my birthday month. And I have been around the sun almost 64 years. And as I reflect on that time, I think about my mother, the avid angler that already had 5 girls and 5 boys. She was about to have her 11th child, and she knew it was going to be hard. My mother was a sharecropper. She had worked on a farm. She was also a maid. And she knew it was going to be hard because this child was born out of wedlock. She had fallen in love with the man on the other side of the track that had a wife and children already. And she knew it was going to be hard. So she said, I'm going to take my baby fishing with me. I'm going to expose her to the outdoors and help her learn how to deal with some of the challenges that she may face being having been born in a very shameful relationship. Well, after a lot of therapy over the years and going around the sun for 64 seasons, I have to say I'm glad that she took me in the outdoors in southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana, and the therapy that I got. So today I can say I was their love child. And there are a lot of you all ladies out there that are going to be I'll be talking to today. You have a lot of love for what you do. United Way, I know and I've read about the love that you have and the work that you have, the way you collaborate, the way you care, and the way you connect. And so I'm hoping that we will continue to do that. As I think about that, it was 9th grade, my biology teacher introduced me to Marvin Gaye. Marvin Gaye had a song that was called Mercy, Mercy Me. And it said, things are not like they used to be. And it said, what happened to those blue skies? And he said, radiation in the air. And then he said, mercury in the fish that we eat. And it was then that I realized, and he challenged me, and he challenged the whole class, what is it that we can do to make sure that the food that we eat and that the fish that we eat and fish for were safe, and that the air that we breathe was safe. And so today, as I think about being here and standing in front of all of you all, I'm reminded of that 9th grade teacher. Not only did he inspire people like me to take care of our food, our water, and our timber and trees, because we rely on those things. They're there because we need them for our human health, but they're also there for many of us to enjoy them. But he also asked us to think about what we could do. So my lean in moment this afternoon is to encourage all of us to think about climate change and what it means to us. Think about what we can do to secure food by protecting nature. What can we do to take care of our trees when we can and have a balanced approach to harvesting and things like that, so we can have all the products that we need, so we can have clean water for our medicine and all of that. I worked for over 30 years for the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, and as head of fisheries in this country, had the privilege of talking to a lot of people that understood why that was important. But my lean in moment is still all about lifting as we climb. And when I think about that, I think about Oprah. Oprah is still one of my favorite girls. I really like her. Another girl raised in the South, like many of you all. But Oprah, when she talks about lifting as we climb, she talks about that elevator. And she says, send that elevator back down. When you get up, send that elevator back down. And then her friend, he talks about when he says, he's just a person that walks around the earth and reminds people that you are significant, that you are enough, and that you are the person that you are, and be that person. So today I want to tell you about my lean in moment. I want to make sure you understand. You should often tell yourselves this as well. I love affirmations. I do them every day. Lift as we climb means that we need to understand that you are magnificent, you are enough, and you'll be okay. And think about that in terms of working with others. You are magnificent, united. You are enough, united. And you will be okay, united. And that's something we worry about. And, I've had a chance to work in a male-dominated field my entire life. And of course, as you can imagine, I've been told that I'm not enough. I've been told that I was not magnificent. And I've been told that I needed to do more. I've been in isolation a lot of times, but there was one experience that stands by and sticks with me. I worked at the Department of the Interior in Washington, D.C. And it was here that I was sitting in a room with some folks that weren't very friendly to me based on the subject that we were talking about. And at some point, I just got tired. And so I left the room. I tell this story on NPR too. I left the room and I went in the bathroom and I sat in there and cried. It's okay to cry because Mama said crying is like an inside shower that cleanses us. I cried, but it was a lady that knocked on the door and she looked under the stall and she was a janitor in that building. And she said, baby, come on out. What's wrong? And I told her, I said, I'm just tired being the only woman, the only person of color, trying very hard to find a place at a table and to make myself known and appreciated for the work that we are doing. She was one of those women that we all need in our lives to move us to our more. She's the one that had to remind us of our crazy. Every one of you should know your crazies. Out there, chat. Put it in the chat. If you know you're crazy, say, I know my crazy. Because you need to know you're crazy so you can know something about it. I know my crazy now. When I see it coming down the street, I walk on the other side of the street. My crazy got me in trouble that day because I wanted to go back in that room and I wanted to say to her, just like my cousin from Chicago would say, I know you didn't talk to me that way, but of course, being Dr. Parker, being that biologist in this field, being one of the only women in it and the head of fisheries in this country, that was not possible to do. Had to think about what this lady told me then. I'm magnificent. I am enough. And I am okay. And so that's what we have to remember as we get tired. And I know all the barriers that we have to overcome. They sometimes will keep us from being okay. Fundraising, that gets to us at times. We have to overcome those barriers. We have to think about ways in which we can tell ourselves that you might get tired, and that's okay. Learn to get tired, learn to rest, and start all over again. Get up and do it again. Now is not the time for you to lose your hope. Ladies, you have to be merchants of hope. Those women, those children, those individuals in these communities, they need us, and we need to be there for them. And so I'm encouraging you all to remember you are enough and you will be okay. And as I think too about my experiences at U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service as a conservationist, and whether it was being appointed by the governor's office or doing different work, it's always us understanding that, we have to be persistent and we have to remember that everything's going to be okay. At the age of 50, my husband came to me and he said to me, I'm going to ask for a divorce. And he said, because you are married to your job. Ladies, we have to have a balanced life. We have to think about our partners. We have to think about our cats, our dogs, our fish, our gardens, or whatever, so that our life is more balanced. He was right about that. And he did leave, and he was gone for about 3 months. And I tell people all of the time, fight for what you want. We got the counseling that we needed. I encourage people to do that. And it was in those 3 months that I learned to be a better partner and think about ways in which you can be better partners, where you can be a better daughter, granddaughter, whatever it is. Be better at what you do. Make sure that you are making your best better. And he came back after 3 months. And we had a wonderful time together. We traveled the world, did a lot of great things together. And then he said that he was leaving me again 2 years later. And I was like the songwriter, Gloria Gaynor, when she said, go out the door, don't turn around now because you're not welcome anymore, because I will, what ladies? Survive. I will survive. And so it was okay for him to leave at that time. But this time my husband was leaving because he was dying. At the age of 50, he had stomach cancer. And it was in his dying that I learned all about living, learned about being magnificent, learned about being okay, learned about the fact that I am enough and he was enough. And it was one day that I was sitting on the bed and I said, how in the world can I live without you? Because I knew he was not going to make it. And he said to me, he said, Mamie, remember all those things that your mother told you on the banks of Bayou Bartholomew in southern Arkansas and Lake Enterprise? And I started thinking about one in particular. And that was the song that she taught me early on as a little girl. And that song is something that we sang together as he was taking many of his last breaths. And it was that song that talked about row, row, row your boat. That song is one that I want you all to sing in your minds right now, because the song, think about what it says. It says, row, row, row your boat. And then it says, gently down the stream, merrily, 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 life is but a dream. That song has many, many meanings. And my mother told me as I sat there and talked to her, and she said, it says, row, 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 don't stop. Row, 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 don't quit. And then it says, row, row, row your boat. Put that in the chat. Tell your friends, neighbors, and others to row their boat. That means be persistent, but it also means that we need to stay in our lane sometimes, right? Stay in your lane. Row, row, row your boat gently. And then it says down the stream. That's the part that I like, because it's in the words of Madagascar in the movie I like. It says, I like to move it, move it. So, but that means move. You can't get stuck. Sometimes we get stuck, stalled, and scared. And we need to overcome our fears many times when we want to know that we are enough and that we can be magnificent and that we will be okay. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream, keep moving. And then it says, life is but a dream. I dream that you'll be okay, that you will know that you are enough, and that you will know that you are magnificent. My husband did pass away. It was over 12 years ago now, actually 13 years ago. But December 27th, 2020, I remarried, and the love of my life gave me the next quote that inspires me and keeps me going. When he talks about, he says, life can be hard, but life is long. And so while I've had a chance to travel the world, in China, in Africa, in Asia, and many other places in this world, Alaska and other places, and learned how to protect the fish and the wildlife, learned how to protect people that worked with and for me. What sticks with me is that message, because that message is all about the fact that this too shall pass. And it was doing 911, and I had an employee that was on the plane, flight 93, that crashed shortly after the World Trade Center was, hit. And this individual tells a story before he passed away to his parents. They were on this flight, and they said, we got to stop these hijackers from hijacking this plane. And they went around and they grabbed everything that they could. And they talked to people on the plane, and they got what they needed. And it was amazing. Then they stood in a huddle together, and they said, we're getting ready to go stop these hijackers from taking this plane to Washington, D.C. And they said, let's roll. Let's roll. And so as we think about united, as we think about being together, as we think about our passion, as we think about our being productive, we think about being progressive, we have to know that we have to do all these things. They didn't have many resources, but the resources that they had, they used them. And they said, let's roll. And so, ladies, I'm telling you today as I close, that that's what's important for you all to do, is to think about individuals like that don't always have everything that they need. I had limited things when I started. And even today, I was listening to Bubba Watkins just won. I love NASCAR racing too. And he won the race. And he said, I never saw this in my dreams. I never saw this in my dreams. Being that poor little black and brown girl from southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana, having the privilege to stand here before you all, to encourage you all to keep going and growing. But it was my mother's words, again, on her deathbed. She died 2 weeks before I graduated. And I sat there on her deathbed and she said to me, Mamie, you just gotta keep going and growing. You gotta stay amazing. And then we said this poem together. And as I end, I'll say this poem with you. The poem says, each day I live to be a day to give the best of me. I'm only one, but not alone. My finest day is yet unknown. Ladies, your finest day is yet unknown. And those words that go with me wherever I go, and I hope you'll take them with you, and know that you too should keep going and growing. Stay amazing. And remember how important it is to lift as we climb, to know that you are magnificent, you are enough, and that you'll be okay. Thank you for your time and attention.
Thank you, Dr. Parker, for sharing your inspirational story. My name is Joanna Brumsey, and I'm chair of Women United. I have here with me today Erin Ruane, my vice chair.
Hey everyone, it's a pleasure to be with you. We're so delighted you took the time to join us today and hope you enjoyed Dr. Parker's message. I particularly loved her reminder to lift as we climb. That's truly what Women United is all about. Women who have achieved success supporting other women on their path to self-sufficiency. All of us can think of a woman whose leadership, mentorship, or encouragement made a difference on our path. Women United seeks to be that support for women across our community.
That's right, Erin. In fact, last year we were 786 members strong and raised over $2 million to build brighter futures for women and children across the 757. And the Aspire Partnership, led by Women United, is a great example of how we're making that happen. Aspire launched in January 2019 and uses a coaching model to move women and their families into permanent self-sufficiency over 3 years. To date, participants have achieved 528 of their 587 goals that they set. That's an achievement rate of 90%. They've also increased their credit scores by an average of 52 points and saved on average $4,500. 2 participants last month even purchased their very first home.
Yay! Awesome.
That is really something to celebrate.
It certainly is. Aspire has also provided critical data and lessons learned. Uncovered was a group of women in our community who are ready to take next steps toward economic mobility, but need to achieve a higher level of stability before being ready to participate in the rigor of Aspire. As a result, Women United has once again led the charge by creating and funding Strive to fill this gap. Strive, which recently launched, will serve women for 12 to 18 months and provide intensive coaching specifically focused on helping them reach housing and employment stability so they can move on to Aspire if they choose. We cannot wait to see how this new program will change the lives of women. Now, we're excited to debut video from a recent small group conversation with some of our Aspire participants, where they shared what the program has meant to them.
Roll the tape!
Good evening, ladies. Thank you so much for being here tonight. As you know, my name is Meredith. I'm one of the mobility mentors for the Aspire pilot, which is generously funded by Women United. And tonight we are going to talk about life and what brought you here today.
I was pregnant with twins.
Wow.
I was living in a homeless shelter, and I had 3 months of living in a homeless shelter before I got picked up by 4 kids. They wanted to make sure that my twins were going to survive before they would place me somewhere. And so once that happened, I got placed into a home. And after that, I'd say a year later, I think it was a year later, if not a year, probably about 9 months afterwards, I got introduced to Aspire.
Was introduced to Aspire. I was going through a a debt crisis. And I didn't know how to manage my money. I was just all over the place. I didn't care about credit. Like, I really didn't know what credit was because no one taught me that growing up as a child. But, you know, as I been in the program for so long, I've been able to like learn how to manage my money. My credit score went up. I'm on the verge of buying me a home.
Before Aspire, I was struggling financially, debt, couldn't barely pay my bills, trying to take care of all 3 kids myself, struggling with finding places to rent, all of that. And now I did just buy my first home. Thanks to being in Aspire, I have gotten my credit up, gotten a good job.
Can you tell us what the process is like for you being a participant, what that looks like, and what you're doing when you meet with your mentor that's helped you get to where you are now?
Well, the process for me, everything is great. Like, I love meeting with my mentor. It's mandatory that we meet at least twice. We meet more than that. Like, I've had 2 mentors since I started Aspire. And both of them was amazing and still is. I've accomplished a lot, and just us by sitting down and talking, and they helping me figure out goals and helping me meet the goals and me meeting the goals. It made me feel good about myself, better than what I felt at first.
One of the things that we really, really work on, or we really express in our meetings is strategizing for goals, basically long-term goals, short-term goals. And we try our hardest to initiate how we're going to make those goals come true. You see what I'm saying? In the next 6 months or the next 3 months.
It's actually been really great working with you. I do appreciate you in so many ways, and you do motivate me and you push me. And as you know, I have a problem with coming up with goals because I don't look at them as goals. To me, it's just something that has to be done. I have to do it. So you help me in that way and open my eyes. I'm like, wait a minute, let's turn this into a goal. And of course, the incentives definitely help push, but you definitely have given me confidence, and when I'm not looking at things so well, you do push me. So, thank you.
I've learned a lot in these 2.5 years. Like, money was just, I used to just spend money, throw it out there. Money that I didn't even have, you know, but just having someone to motivate you to be better in life, period. Because I knew I had 5 people that depended on me, so.
I mean, I feel like I walk around with more confidence. I kind of head down, walked around, more quiet and silent. Now I feel like I have more confidence, and I show it when I walk around.
Well, my favorite part was last year I was blessed with a brand new car. Cause my car, I had got in a car accident and I couldn't get my car insured. It was a whole bunch of crazy stuff going on. And she called me and she was like, hey, is this program? I was all to pieces. And she was like, hey, is this program I know about? It's with Aspire. We can sign you up to get a car. And I'm pretty sure it was plenty other people that was on that list to get that car. But they blessed me and my kids with a brand new car, and that was amazing. And I really thank them for that. Like, I cried for days.
So you've all accomplished so much already, but what are you still dreaming about?
I would say my dreams are to keep building my savings.
Yeah.
Just keep progressing in life, keep moving forward, getting better, being better, and hopefully my kids will see. Just keep fighting.
I want to graduate with honors. You know, I want to be top of my class. I want to be someone that, you know, other people can look at me and say, hey, I want to do what she did. She did it. She followed the plan. She executed it. and it actually worked for her, no matter what her situation was. And that's what I plan to do.
So what does it mean to you being in the program for your children?
That's basically what it's all about. I do everything. I wake up, I breathe air just for my kids. Everything that I do at the programs is not all just about the incentives and all. It's great to have, but I do everything for my kids. Because I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for my kids.
Well, it means for me that I get to show my oldest daughter what it's like to struggle and then get out of that struggle, whether it be with the help of a stranger or with the help of a close family member or a friend. I'm teaching her that she needs to strategize, and no matter what, she does not need to give up.
I want my kids to see that even if you get down, you're gonna have downs, you're gonna have ups, but to keep fighting. Anything is possible. Set your mind to it, work to it, be determined, and you can get there.
Wow, it's amazing to hear the progress that our Aspire participants have made and the ways they continue to reach even further with growing confidence. Now it's time for us to stretch ourselves to support these women. If you have already made your pledge, thank you. Your gift means the world to us and allows us to sustain programs like Aspire, innovate new opportunities like Strive, and provide support to other local nonprofits that align with our mission. If today's program inspired you to increase your gift, Sherry Stein, Director of Women United, would be more than happy to assist you in making that happen.
And if you have not yet made your pledge, we invite you to do so today. If you are joining us virtually, simply click on the pledge button on the screen. If you are watching us on YouTube, please use the link in the video description. If you are attending an in-person watch party, your host should have pledge cards for you to complete, or you can scan the QR code on the signage provided. With the impacts of COVID still lingering, we know this is going to be a difficult year for women and children in our community, so they need us to step up. Every dollar makes a difference, and we can't do our work without you.
And remember, if you plan to participate in your workplace campaign, your gift will not be counted twice. Your pledge simply serves as a promise to give and helps us showcase the reach of this event and the influence of Women United in the 757. And if you can afford to increase your gift this year, please know that it is needed now more than ever.
Well, Joanna, I think that about wraps it up. A big thank you to everyone who joined us virtually or at a watch party today. We know you are zoomed out, and we appreciate you making this a priority. We are so very grateful for your dedication of time, talent, and treasure. Thanks to you, we will build a brighter future for women and children in the 757. We hope you enjoyed today's program and that you leave feeling inspired and ready to lift as we climb.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone. Thank
Bye.
you.